So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to do a lot of different videos on electroplay because you guys have requested it. So I've just got all these fun toys. We're going to be talking about how to use these and a whole bunch more. But first, we're going to talk about electroplay safety. Hey guys, it's Morgan from BDSM Relationships and Education. Thank you very much for checking out this video on electroplay safety. If you enjoy the video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can see all the new videos that I am posting. So today we're talking about electroplay safety. Like I said, we're going to have a couple of videos over the next few weeks all about different forms of electroplay. I think first up we're going to do the violet wand because that's something that I've had a bunch of requests for, but electroplay in general, I've had a lot of requests for that. So we are going to talk about safety today, and this will apply to pretty much any form of electroplay that you're doing. And then for each individual toy, like say for the violet wand, we're going to have some safety information that is specific to that. But this is sort of a general all-around safety kind of thing, because there's a lot of myths about electroplay out there, and we're going to talk about those. So the first bit of general electroplay safety is making sure that your equipment is in good working order. So the first thing I like to do is always check all of my cords to make sure that they're not frayed and that they are in good shape. Now this goes not only for the cord that attaches the say violet wand into the wall, but if I'm using extension cords as well, those need to be inspected. You never want to do play with a frayed or damaged cord. It's an expensive piece of equipment and I don't want to have it falling all over the place. So yeah, if there's a lot of signs of wear or something is damaged, then you don't want to use it. I prefer to use outdoor heavy-duty extension cords when I'm doing electroplay, just because, especially something like the violet wand or anything like that, there can be a fairly heavy draw. So I don't think that the sort of cheapy indoor, dollar store type cords are really suitable. So I just bought a bunch of outdoor cords from Princess Auto because it's cheap and I know that they're half decent quality. And of course I inspect them and make sure that they're in good shape. You also want to check any of the batteries. So if you've got something like my little TENS machine here. I don't have batteries in it at the moment, but I want to check. I don't store it with batteries because the batteries can corrode and damage the terminals. So I want to make sure that there's no corrosion in here, that it's nice and clean and dry so that I can put batteries in. And I just take the batteries out and I keep them all in a little Ziploc baggie, and I put the batteries in there and I put all the cords and everything else all in the little Ziploc so that it stays together and it doesn't get, messy. But I just put the batteries in each time. I don't store it with the batteries in it because it can be, potentially months in between uses. So just make sure that you're not storing stuff with the batteries in. Obviously, water and electricity don't mix. So make sure that you're not standing in like weird puddles or stuff like that. But also be aware, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, that sweat and water on the body can increase conductivity and can change the sensation that you're getting with toys. We also don't want to overload our plugs. So I don't want to have all of my big studio lights and my computer and the violet wand and other stuff all plugged in to one outlet, right? We don't want to overload it. And I don't want to use one of those extender plugs where I can plug 20 things into one outlet. You want to spread it around and make sure that you're not overloading any of the circuits. So, that's basic electric safety. You don't want to plug everything in your kitchen into one plug. You don't want to do it in the bedroom. You don't want to do it anywhere. So just be careful and use common sense. So we always want to read our instruction manual. This is the instruction manual for my violet wand. So you want to go through and read what it has to say, because this is going to have important information about how to use the tool. So even if you are, using something for off-label purposes, so like my little TENS machine, this is not meant to be used for BDSM play. This is a health product. But read the instruction manual, but you should at least look it up online and familiarize yourself with the proper use of the item, and then also understand the kinky use of the item. You want to understand the type of electricity that you're playing with and how it can affect the body. So the violet wand produces one type of electricity. The TENS unit is a different type of electricity. So understand the kind of electricity and what it's going to do to the human body. Now, of course, I think we all sort of know that you should not do electrical play if you have a pacemaker. So if somebody does have a pacemaker, and it's not just for old people, I know people in their 20s that because of various heart defects have pacemakers. So you can't use it for a number of reasons. Number one, most pacemakers, the purpose of them is going to be to shock the heart back into a normal rhythm. So if you are introducing other electrical currents, then that can really mess up the ability of the pacemaker to do its job and, fix the heart if it gets into a weird rhythm. The other reason is that most pacemakers nowadays also record activity of the heart. So they're going to, your doctor can connect electronically or wirelessly to the pacemaker itself and download and see, oh, okay, did we have any, unusual events in the last 6 months, whatever. And if you're doing electrical play, it's going to show up. And you're going to have to explain that, because otherwise your doctor is going to be like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Like, there's something really wrong. We got to fix this. And then it's just being you fucking around with, some kind of electrical device for kink play. So don't play with electro torture, electro play. If you have a pacemaker, it is absolutely not worth the risk that it will affect your pacemaker. And best case scenario, you've got some weird, explanation for your doctor as to why you're getting shocked so much. And your doctor is going to tell you, stop it. Don't do this kind of play. So don't do that. Also, a lot of these things can be affected by electromagnetic fields. For instance, violet wands create an electromagnetic field, and it will screw up your electronics. I know this because I lost a BlackBerry that way, and I'm still really sad and really bitter about my BlackBerry because they don't make them the way they used to, and I miss it. It had a keyboard on it that I can use with big long nails. So just don't. Just trust me that violet wands can destroy electronic devices. So no electric play if you have a pacemaker, but also if you have any kind of a device implanted in your body, so whether that's a pain pump, an insulin pump, any of those kind of things, no. It's totally off limits. The risk is simply too high that you would damage these devices by doing electrical play. Pretty much if you have any heart condition, again, the risk is not worth it. It's a couple of minutes of fun versus, potential death. Really, if we're talking worst case scenario, death. So don't play if you have a heart condition. It's absolutely much better to be safe than sorry. And if you want similar sensations, there are other things. Electrical play tends to be very stingy, so you can get the same type of sensations with other stingy play. If you have any seizure disorder, again, electrical play can trigger seizures, so it's probably best to stay away from electrical play. If you're pregnant, please don't make me say it, but stay away from electrical play. Not worth the risks. You probably should also avoid it if you have diabetic neuropathy, because it can cause a greater increase in pain. So that kind of sucks. As a person, I don't have diabetic neuropathy, but I do have a different disease that affects my nerves and a lot of nerve damage. I find that if I am running electrical current through my body the way you can with a violet wand, or just on the receiving end of electrical shocks, it affects me way more than it would somebody without these kind of issues, and that pain lingers. It will cause a flare in my pain. So I just generally try to tell people, if you have nerve pain specifically, now you guys can chime in if you have different types of pain, like for instance, if you have more muscle-oriented pain, like you would with fibromyalgia or other pain diseases, like chime in, let me know how electricity affects you as well. But for me and my experience with nerve pain, man, stay away from the electrical play, because it is on the receiving end. I still, deliver electrical play, but I don't, run a current through my own body because it's not worth it. So your body has a natural electrical resistance, and I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. I understand like the body and the, basically the electrical I understand the body and the electrical systems within the body. I am not the best at outside electrical stuff. So I'm going to try to explain all this stuff as best I can, but if I'm not perfect, please, be kind. And this is going to be a very rudimentary understanding. So your body has a natural electrical resistance, and this is measured in ohms. So this can be reduced depending on your hydration levels. It can be changed if you have, if you're perspiring or you're wet. So it is something that you do need to be aware of, because on very rare occasions, something which would have been safe for you if you were, say, dry skin, could be potentially dangerous if your skin is wet. It can shock you a lot more. It can be a stronger shock and just generally not feel very good. The movement of the electrical charge is measured in amps, and the pressure pushing the electrons is measured in volts. And I'm sorry if you can see me kind of looking down at my notes there. Like I said, this is not precisely my areas of expertise. I do a lot of electrical play, or some electrical play at least, but all this other stuff is a little, it's just not my thing. So you multiply the volts by the amps and you get watts. So the reason that I'm explaining that is that I'm going to give you a list in just a moment of what is safe and what isn't safe. So frequency then is the pulsing of the current, and that's measured in hertz, and we can play around with the frequency. So danger levels. Like I said, I was going to give you a list of danger levels. At 0.01 watts, that is sort of the threshold that you could feel an electrical shock. For most people. At 0.25 watts, so this is like very minuscule amounts of electricity, that is where you start to get the destruction of the myelin, and that is the substance that protects the nerves. It's the coating on the nerves, and I would imagine that this is why I experience electrical shocks to a much greater degree than somebody who doesn't have nerve damage and nerve diseases. So it's just a fun little thing there. But that is the point where you start to get the destruction of that myelin. Between 1 and 4 watts is when you're going to start getting muscle spasms. At 25 watts, you can get respiratory difficulty, and your heart rhythm can be changed. And this is in a normal, healthy person, not somebody that already has heart defects or heart issues or heart disease. So in a healthy person at around 25 watts, you can experience changes in your heart rhythms. And somewhere between 100 and 900 watts, which is a huge sort of distance, is where you would experience heart failure and death. So because of this natural electrical resistance measured in ohms that all of us have, that's going to change based on, today it could be one level, tomorrow it could be a different level, from one person to another it could be different, you name it. So next up, we're going to talk just very briefly about DC current and AC current, and of course the battle of the currents. For anybody who's really into Tesla and stuff like that, you already know about all this stuff. But DC is direct current, and the positive and negative terminals are fixed. The electricity always flows in the same direction. So we see this with batteries, with solar power, with fuel cells. those are examples of DC energy. And direct current electricity. AC is alternating current. So the direction of the flow of electricity changes, and it reverses 60 times per second in the US and 50 times per second in Europe. So the body has a lower tolerance for AC power. It is much more dangerous. And I should say that AC power is the kind that you plug into the wall to get. So AC power is potentially twice as deadly as DC power, right? So that is fairly controversial. I should point that out, but from the research that I've done, which isn't a lot, I will admit, but it is potentially twice as deadly. So anything you're plugging into the wall is potentially a lot more dangerous than something that's running on battery power. So that's something to keep in mind. And I'm not going to get into too much about that stuff. I just wanted to cover it briefly so that we at least acknowledge these things, and then you guys can do your own research if it's something that you are interested in. And if people have videos that explain it better than I do, please feel free to link them below. I'm going to look and see if there's a good Crash Course video, because I love Crash Course. I don't know if you guys have checked it out, but they do everything. They're an awesome thing. I sit and watch it just because it's fun. But anyways, so I really suggest people not use tight bondage with electrical play, because if you do set off muscle spasms or anything like that, your bottom can end up injuring themselves fighting against the bondage. And it's not a conscious fighting. It's just that, you know, if you're causing muscle spasms, their body is going to try to move in a way that they can't control, and that can be damaged by bondage. So that's especially relevant when you are playing with TENS machines, because TENS machines can cause muscle contractions. It's kind of the point of them, or at least one of the points of them. So the toys that we're going to cover in our upcoming videos will be the Violet Wand. Like I said, I think that one's going to be coming up next. We'll do Violet Wand, TENS machine. We'll talk about e-stim, and like those kind of things. So that is the little box. It's similar to the TENS, but it has all the different electrodes. We'll talk about stun guns and, you know, cattle prods. We're going to talk about pervertibles such as like fly swatters and dog collars, like the shocking kind that you can use. So we're going to try to cover a whole bunch of other things. If there's something on the list that I didn't say, or something not on the list rather, then please leave me a comment below and I will see if we can cover that. I'm just kind of talking about the toys that I currently have. I don't actually have an e-stim unit, but I have in the past. It belonged to a previous partner, so I do have a fair bit of experience with those, and it's something that I'm planning on buying soon anyways. So hopefully I'll buy one before we talk about it. We'll see though. But anyways, yeah, let me know if there's something else you guys want to talk about. So that is the very quick crash course sort of thing, and I don't want to steal that name, but like the quick version of electrical play safety. As we talk about each device, we will talk about the safety that is specific to that device. But I think everything that I've mentioned is pretty straightforward. We're going to try to link some videos below. Check the comments to see if other people post videos about electricity and stuff like that that we can use to learn and research. So thanks very much for watching this video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and let me know what kind of electrical toys you want to learn about in the comments below. Thanks very much, and I will see you guys in the next video.